Welcome. In this session, we will see questions from level 2. So here is a question from level 2, question number 5. Which one of the following statement is incorrect? So we need to find out an incorrect statement. So here the heart muscles are striated and involuntary. So we know the heart muscles are nothing but the cardiac muscles, and these cardiac muscles they show striations, so they are striated and they are involuntary, so not under the control of central nervous system directly. So hence this statement, heart muscles are striated and involuntary, is a correct statement. The muscles of hand and legs. So here the muscles of hand and legs are skeletal muscles of hand and legs. So these are skeletal muscles, and we know the skeletal muscles are striated and they are voluntary under the control of central nervous system directly. So hence this statement is also a right statement. Then coming to the third option, the muscles located in the inner walls of alimentary canal. So here the muscles of alimentary canal are smooth muscles. Alimentary canal are smooth muscles, and these smooth muscles are unstriated. They are unstriated and they are involuntary. Okay, so here you can see the alimentary canal are striated. They have mentioned striated, which means this is wrong, and they mentioned involuntary, so this is correct, but the overall statement will be a wrong statement. The muscles located in the reproductive tracts are unstriated. Yes, they are okay. Again, smooth muscles, and these are unstriated and are also they are involuntary. So hence, this statement is also a right statement. So out of these four statements, the statement that is incorrect is the C. So C option is the correct answer. So let's see next question. Which one of the following is not a disorder of bone? So here arthritis is inflammation of joints, is inflammation of joints. Okay, then coming to another one called osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is decreased bone mass. So here with this we can understand that arthritis is a disorder of bone. Osteoporosis is also a disorder of bone. The next one, rickets. So these rickets are caused due to deficiency of vitamin D. So all these three are disorders of bone. And coming to the atherosclerosis. So this atherosclerosis is deposition of fat, cholesterol, calcium, okay, inside the blood vessels, and that is arteries. So here atherosclerosis is not a disorder of bone, so it is concerned with the blood vessels. So the answer is D. So D option is the right option. So the next question, nucleus pulposus. So here nucleus pulposus is a residual notochord. Pulposus is a residual notochord, and this residual notochord is present in intervertebral disc. So it is located in intervertebral disc. So answer in this case is intervertebral disc, that is C option is the right option. So the next question, the muscle band that remains unchanged during contraction and relaxation of muscle. So let's see here, the actin filaments, and we know in between them are the myosin filaments. So we have here the myosin filaments. Okay, I'm sorry, actin filaments, and here we have myosin filaments. So this is the myosin filament. So these are the thick filaments. Okay, here, so this is actin filaments, and okay, whereas this one is myosin filament. Okay, so when we see this, the portion where the actin and myosin overlap is called the A. And of course, so here you see, okay, so the myosin filaments. So now when we see this portion here, okay, so this will be the I band. Okay, whereas from this to this point it is A band. Now there is a region that is present where the myosin is not covered by the actin filament. So this portion from here to here is the H zone. So here now let's see the question again. Muscle band that remains unchanged during the contraction and relaxation of a skeletal muscle. So we know that when the muscle contracts, so here from this point in the middle line, I mean in the middle of I band, so this point to, okay, and another line on this point, so this is the Z line and this is another Z line, and we know from one Z line to the next Z line is sarcomere, okay. And during the contraction, so what happens is, okay, these actin filaments will move towards each other, and this results in reducing this H zone. So it results in reducing the H zone, okay, right. It also results in reducing the, from Z line to Z line, so this distance also will get reduced here, okay, right. And even the length of the I band will decrease. So I'll just mention, so here, so I band, this decreases, okay, and the H zone, so this also decreases, and the distance between the two z lines also decreases. So the distance between z line also decrease. So except the A band, so the length of the A band will remain constant. So A band length remains constant. So here the answer that remains unchanged during contraction and relaxation of skeletal muscle is A band. So C option is right. So next question, Hansen's disc are found in. So here again we will see the structure. Okay, so here actin filaments, right, and between them we have myosin filaments. Okay, so these are the thick filaments. So now here when you see this, okay, where the actin and myosin they are overlapping, so I told you that this is the A band, and now there is a small region where the myosin is not overlapped by actin filaments. So this is actin and this one is myosin. Okay, and here the portion of myosin that is not covered by actin is what I call it H zone. So this H zone is also called Hansen's disc. So H zone, so in which this H, it stands for Hansen's disc. Okay, right. So let's see here, Hansen's disc is found in. So here Hansen's disc is found in myofibril of striated muscle. Yes, it is present in myofibrils of striated muscles. So it's not seen in myofibrils of unstriated muscle, or okay, the myofibrils of heart muscle. So the next question, manubrium is a part of. So here manubrium is a part of sternum. Is a part of sternum. So we know in the case of this sternum, okay, we see total, okay, three parts. So we find, okay, something like this, and one small portion. So here this one is what we call the manubrium. Okay, and this is the body of the sternum, and this one is called the xiphoid process. Okay, and we know that the sternum, the vertebral column, and ribs, so all these three together form the rib cage, will form the rib cage. So that's you can call it thoracic cage. It's rib cage. Okay, so the manubrium is a part. So here, as they did not mention sternum, okay, so here the sternum is not the part of a pelvic girdle, nor the part of a skull or the pectoral girdle. So it's the part of rib cage, which is the thoracic cage. So the right answer is thoracic cage, that is C option. So the next question, which one is formed by ossification of a tendon. So here ossification, which means laying down new bone material, so laying down of new bone material, and this is done by osteoblasts. So these osteoblasts are cells that actually, right, help in producing new bone material, and the process is called ossification. So here, coming to the first option, patella. The patella is also called the knee cap, and this is a sesamoid bone. So here a sesamoid bone is a bone embedded within a tendon or a muscle. So a bone embedded within a muscle or tendon is what we call a sesamoid bone. Okay, and out of the different sesamoid bones, the patella or the kneecap is the largest sesamoid bone. Okay, right. So that's the patella here. Now second option, calcaneus. So I'll take here instead of this, yes, calcaneus. So this calcaneus is a bone present in heel. So this is what we call a heel bone. It's called heel bone, right? And coming to this trapezoid, so this trapezoid bone is a carpal bone. So this is a carpal bone. So I'll show you that. So here is the picture. So in this red color part, what you see here is the trapezoid bone, which is a part of carpal bones. So this is the trapezoid bone. Okay, and next, coming to the tibia. The tibia is the bone that is present, okay, below the knee level or the lower leg. Okay, and it is the largest one when compared with the, okay, it's a supporting bone, okay, fibula. Okay, so this is present in lower leg. Okay, which one is formed by ossification of tendon? So with this information we come to know that the patella, as I told, it is a sesamoid bone, and that is a bone embedded within a muscle or a tendon, and this is formed by the process of ossification. So the right answer is A option, that is patella. So the next question, the phalangeal formula of human fourth limb. So here the phalanges are digits. So the phalanges are digits, and here we have 5 digits, and the first one is thumb. So in thumb we have is 2 phalanges, and the remaining all other digits, the remaining 4 digits will be having, okay, each one with the 3 bones. So out of these, okay, the first option is not, because the first one we need to take it the thumb and the remaining 4 digits. So if you look at, so option D fits. So here the first one is the thumb that has, okay, two right phalanges, and the remaining index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the little finger. So each one of it having, okay, 3 bones. So that option D will be the right option. So the next question, which is a sesamoid bone? So coming to this sesamoid bone, as I already told you, the bone that is embedded within a tendon or a muscle. So just now we have seen, okay, it is the patella that forms by the process of ossification, right? So here, which is a sesamoid bone, it's the patella is the sesamoid bone, and we know the ulna, okay, the part under the forelimb, and femur, the part under the hind limb. Now coming to this pterygoid, so here pterygoid bone. So this pterygoid bone is a paired bone forming part of, it's forming part of right palate of many vertebrates, right? So here the sesamoid bone is the patella. And one more point, the patella is an ossification that takes place in tendon. So the ossification in tendon. So that is seen in case of the patella, which we call it knee cap. The next question, the total number of bones in an adult man is 206, while the total number of total number of muscles, so they're asking total number of muscles. So here coming to this total number of muscles, this will range from around 650 to 840. So here this number usually comes when calculating muscles within a complex muscle, right? So here when you see the options, so they are more than 900 in A and D, and in the C option it is much lesser. The closer value to this 650 is this 639. So the option we need to choose is the B option. So total number of muscles is around, okay, 639. Actually it will range from around 650 to 840, and I told you that this 840 will come when calculating the muscles within a complex muscle. So answer is B. The next question, deltoid ridge is present in. So here what is this deltoid ridge? So here the deltoid ridge, okay, so you can also call it tuberosity, so that you will find, okay, on humerus. So this is roughly triangular, okay, area on middle of humerus, okay, and this is a point where there will be deltoid muscles attached. So to this area deltoid muscles get attached. Okay, so you can see a small, okay, so this portion is what we call the deltoid ridge, and that is present on humerus. So answer is A. So the next question, which of the following is a skull bone? So here the first option is pterygoid. So a few questions back we have seen what is this pterygoid. So this I'll call it pterygoid bone. So this pterygoid bone is a paired bone. So present in two number. So it is a paired bone forming the part of palate. Part of palate. So we know that this palate is present in the skull. Okay, so coming to this arytenoid, so this arytenoid cartilage is part of larynx. It's part of larynx. Then this coracoid, so the coracoid is it's a process of scapula, and this scapula is part of the right. And we know the atlas is the first vertebra of vertebral column, right? So out of these four options, it's the A option that is right. So which is a part of skull, is the pterygoid bone, is the part of the skull bone. The next question, axis vertebra is identified by. So here the first option is sigmoid notch. Sigmoid notch. So what is this sigmoid notch? This is also called radial notch. So also called a radial notch, and this is present on head of ulna. Present, okay, on head of ulna, and this is the one that forms radio-ulnar joint and forms radio-ulnar joint. Okay, then coming to this odontoid process. So this odontoid process is also called dens, or simply called odontoid peg, called odontoid peg. Okay, here we know that this axis, so axis is the second vertebra of vertebral column, right? And I'll show you how this the second vertebra, that is axis vertebra, looks like. Then already we have seen the deltoid ridge. And what is this centrum? So the centrum is the portion of the vertebral column where we see the presence of intervertebral disc. Okay, so here this portion is centrum, and we find different, okay, structures, the spines. Okay, we may see, right, this is the central portion, so where intervertebral disc is present. Yeah, I'll show you the picture. So here in these pictures I'm showing you, okay, the dens or odontoid peg that is part of axis vertebra. So this is that Okay, uh, the odontoid peg or dens, or you can also call odontoid process, which is part of second vertebra, that is axis, which fits into the first vertebra called atlas and helps at forming a pivot joint. Now coming to right, the centrum here, as I told, so you can see this portion which is present towards the anterior side. Okay, so that will be right, the ventral side, and this will be, okay, so the dorsal side here. Okay, so you will find different parts of one vertebra, and here this portion is what we call the centrum, or you can also call it the body. And you can see here a hole. This is the one through which the spinal cord passes. Okay, and this portion is where you will find intervertebral disc. So this is the body or centrum. So answer for this axis vertebra is identified by the presence of odontoid process. So the B option will be the right option. So the next question, opening in the skull is. So here I have two pictures. You can see this is I'm showing the base of the skull. So this picture is the base of skull, and when you see the base of the skull here, you can see a opening. Okay, so this opening is what we call it the foramen magnum. So this is called the foramen magnum. Now coming to the first option, what is this foramen of Monroe? So it's a small duct that connects the first and second with the third ventricle in the brain. So we have something called ventricles in brain, and these ventricles are total 4 in number. So we have first the paraseals. Okay, then next we have is diaceal, and the third one we have is metaceal. Okay, so these paraseals will be 2 in number. Now the paraseals and diaceals are connected by foramen of Monroe. So paraseals and diaceals are connected by the foramen of Monroe. Okay, now coming to the C option, coronal suture and lambdoidal suture. So both these sutures are present in skull. So here you can see, okay, one suture, so that's present between the frontal bone. So this is the parietal bone, and this one is occipital bone. Now the suture that is present between the frontal and parietal is the coronal suture. Okay, so this coronal suture is the one which is present between frontal bone and parietal bones. Then coming to this lambdoid suture, the lambdoid suture, so you can see here, this is the lambdoid suture. So is, okay, so lambdoidal suture, and this one is present between the parietal and occipital bone. So lambdoidal suture is present between right? The parietal and occipital, between parietal and occipital bone. So now opening in the skull is the foramen magnum, through which the spinal cord right runs into the vertebral column. So answer for this option is foramen magnum. So the next question, in myasthenia gravis acetylcholine. So here myasthenia gravis is a autoimmune disorder. It's an autoimmune disorder, okay, that affects neuromuscular junctions or motor end plates. So now here let us see how that neuromuscular junction is seen. Okay, say suppose this is the synaptic knob, and here is the cell membrane. So that is sarcolemma, cell membrane of a muscle cell. So this is sarcolemma, and this is the synaptic knob, and inside this you will find vesicles and many white mitochondria. So you will find, okay, synaptic uh, vesicles, and these will contain neurotransmitters inside, that is acetylcholine. So the synaptic vesicles, so these are synaptic vesicles, and these synaptic vesicles contain the neurotransmitter. So here the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, is acetylcholine. Okay, and here on the sarcolemma we find receptors. So you can see these are receptors. So these receptors will receive the acetylcholine, that is neurotransmitter. So these are receptors for acetylcholine, receptors for acetylcholine. Okay, so once the impulse reaches the synaptic knob, the synaptic vesicles will fuse with the, okay, membrane, and then finally they release the neurotransmitter, okay, into this gap, and where these neurotransmitters will bind to the acetylcholine receptors, thereby passing the information into the muscle fiber. Now what happens in this myasthenia gravis? Okay, antibodies are produced that destroy the acetylcholine receptors. So antibodies, okay, will destroy acetylcholine receptors. So if it is the case, if those acetylcholine receptors are destroyed, so you say that, so this is destroyed, okay, you can see that the number of receptors get reduced, and because of this the information from the nerve, okay, will not be effectively passed to the skeletal muscles. So for that reason, so there will be, okay, different problems, okay, like in means the muscles will not, the skeletal muscles will not respond properly from the information of central nervous system. So in myasthenia gravis, the acetylcholine receptors on motor end plate are reduced. So you can see in this case, as I told, there are, okay, specific antibodies produced that will destroy these acetylcholine receptors. Okay, hence the information will not pass effectively. So hence the option A will be the right. We'll also see other options. Secretion from nerve terminals is reduced. No. Okay. The esterase activity is prohibited. No. And secretion from nerve terminals is enhanced. So this is also not an option. Okay. Here esterase is an enzyme. So this is an enzyme, so which will catalyze, okay, uh, in a reaction which results in the formation of esters into acid plus alcohol. So this reaction is catalyzed by these esterase enzymes. So here out of the four options, the A option is the right answer. We'll see the remaining questions in the next session.